Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your pain, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome into another edition of the Dadbot Fantasy Squad. I am Rob, and I'm here with the one and only Mr. Alex. How are you doing this evening?
Not bad, man. It was first day back at work. It was a depressing, sad day.
Nice. Welcome back to the work week.
Yeah.
Fantasy-wise, how's it going?
Well,
tell the people what went down.
I'm officially out of the playoffs in all my leagues. I did not make the championship in one league. I did make the semifinals in a bunch, but Rob decided to beat me in one of the leagues that I thought I was going to win. He's a lucky duck.
What's up, Elbert? How you doing, man? Yeah. So obviously we got a bunch of dynasty leagues and stuff like that. I'm in 2 of the 3 with most of the Dadbot crew in them. So, if you guys got questions, I'm the guy to come to, I guess. I think I'm in 3 finals this week. So I got some stuff going on, and then 2 more going for 3rd place. So we'll see. I'm excited. I got some weird injury stuff, and Dynasty's weird with the double quarterbacks. So I'm dealing with in one league that I want to win. I have T-Law, and then obviously it's the league I had Deshaun Watson in. So I've been playing QB roulette for my QB2. I had Dobbs for most of the year, and then I went to Nick Mullins. Now he might get benched, and I have Heineke, and I'm debating between like Mason Rudolph and like who am I going to start with all these quarterbacks going in and out of the lineups. Jacoby Brissett, I have no idea, but I'm working through it. I'm trying to figure it out. Hopefully Trevor Lawrence plays, but I'm not.
I wouldn't be banking on it.
I don't know. It's not looking good for him. What's up, brother? Yeah, I'm glad that Amari Cooper play worked out. Picked him up, played him, got into the. I'm assuming you're in the finals after that Amari Cooper performance.
Yeah, it was like 50 points.
We're happy for you, dude. We're happy for you. That worked out. So we got a big episode for you guys. We are going to kind of recap Week 16, go over the players that maybe overperformed from what we thought, underperformed to what we expect. Go through that, kind of give an idea of what we're kind of expecting from these players for this final week for your championship matchups. And then we're hoping a lot of you guys ask a bunch of questions heading into your last showdown, trying to get that money, trying to get paid, and that trophy that we all want. Unfortunately, Alex, ain't coming your way this year, but there is always next year for you.
I could buy a participation trophy for myself. I don't know.
You can. 2 for finals, 3 for third. There you go, dude. 2 out of 5. You're doing it. You're in there.
Yeah, it's not too shabby.
Let's take it home. I'm 3 of 5. So well done, dude. That's a good performance of the season. Let's start off, Alex. Let's start with news, right? Let's get into the news of the day. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on this time of the year with injuries, people kind of sitting out, rest days, stuff like that. So we're going to kind of recap most of it. Kyler, Zay Flowers, Cole Kmet, Jamar Chase, Trevor Lawrence, Sutton, Christian Watson, Pacheco, Josh Jacobs, Keenan Allen, Achane, Mostert, Tyreek, Waddle, Addison. They were all do not participate for Wednesday practice. Interesting. Any of those guys stand out to you, or You think it's got some precautionary stuff? Where you at with these guys?
You've got to be worried because some of these guys might not be in the playoff hunt at all. So, and some of these guys are your studs. And
Mostert was interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
he's been in and out though with practice. I think they're trying to monitor him. He's got something going on. Waddle, he's got a high ankle, so that's obviously concerning. So he's an interesting one I'm keeping an eye on.
I'd be surprised if he plays.
There's rumblings about Jamar Chase maybe coming back and Keenan. So obviously they've been out for this playoff push, which sucks. One of my leagues going into last week for the finals to get into the finals, I had Jamar and Keenan. So obviously I lost that one. Wasn't the best of performances, but I went up against a buzzsaw. He played Brees and T. Higgins, and I think he put up 200 points on me. So I wasn't winning that one anyway, so it's not a big deal. But it's a big list of big names. So we're going to try to keep an eye on it as close as we can. Obviously, we'll be here again tomorrow, right before kickoff, trying to get you guys ready with some more updates and hopefully better news, more coherent, maybe a little bit more clear on some of these names if they're playing or not. Some of the limited participants today, Taylor Heineke, I think they said it's kind of like monitoring an ankle issue, but he should be good to go. Aaron Jones, Jaden Reed, CJ Stroud, which is good news. No Brown, Nico Collins. Pittman was back at practice. Obviously, again, good news. Tua, Olave, Saquon Barkley, Darren Waller, and Brian Robinson were the limited guys.
Yeah.
Not yet, Albert. I was going to talk about that. Obviously, TJ Hawkinson done for the year. Sucks.
Yeah, and it's an ACL MCL, so it's not like a, hey, he'll be ready for training camp type injury. Like he's probably missing games next season.
You guys use ESPN. It depends, right? So most redrafts on ESPN.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't have any dynasty in ESPN. It's all
no, so that's kind of how most of us play it, I guess, is ESPN for redrafts, and then if we're in dynasty leagues, we use Sleeper. That's the go-to kind of dynasty platform, which we love. I love it. I think it's the best fantasy platform you can get into. We're talking. I still want to get a group of a lot of the listeners and maybe do a dynasty league. Try to get something set up for next season. Maybe get you guys in there if you guys are new to dynasty, because it's definitely a newer thing. Not a lot of people do it. So if you guys want to try it out, maybe we can set something up. But Sleeper is the way to go if you're not in if you're in a dynasty league. DB has been most reliable fantasy crew. Thanks, Philip. Thank you. We appreciate you. Any love? We love all you guys coming and stopping by. Let's get back to some of this. Jacoby Brissett named the starter in Washington. Sucks that he's going to play with 49ers because he's been on a heater past couple of weeks. He looks good when he's in there.
Yeah, he's looked really good. Surprising.
If you're in a pinch, are you willing to play him? Like who? Let's go through these three. Let's go through these three right now, and then we'll kind of rank them, I guess. I think that's a good way to go about it. Tyrod Taylor is going to start for the Giants this week. Russell Wilson got benched, which is crazy, so he probably will not be in Denver next season. Jared Stidham is going to be the starter for the Broncos this week. So out of those three, who do you prefer? Let me get the schedule for Tyrod and Stidham. So the Giants have the Rams and the Broncos have the Chargers.
Probably going Tyrod, Jacoby, and then Stidham last.
And it's a decent matchup for Tyrod against the Rams, so I don't hate it. Yeah, I wish Jacoby wasn't playing the 49ers. I really do, because I think he'd be like a very interesting flyer.
Be a good
to
start.
Just like, I think he could come in and light it up because we've seen it before, but it's definitely a tough go against the 49ers. I think he's a lot better for the weapons there. T-Mac, I think, can put some numbers up against even the 49ers. Like we've talked about this a lot this season, where the 49ers their defense has been great against the quarterback position. really limiting QB points, but they're giving up points to receivers. So it's a
Yeah.
weird dynamic, which is that's what's going on with the 49ers defense. Kind of that bend, don't break mentality where the receivers are going to get a bunch of catches, bunch of yards, but they're not going to find the end zone, really limiting the quarterback to points, kind of keeping them under, QB 15. They're really lowered to like that QB 20 to 25 range when they play the 49ers. So I think some of those other pieces are better off with Jacoby as opposed to what we've been seeing from Sam Howell over the past month. So
Yeah, he's
I don't hate I don't hate like a Terry McLaurin play if you got him. I don't hate if you're in a super pinch like a Curtis Samuel. You could do worse. I think he can be viable. I don't think he'll kill you. So that's the interesting part of that. But I'm with you. I think that's how I'd rank it. I think I'd go Tyrod just with that matchup.
Yeah.
The Rams defense has been suffocating to the rushing game lately. I think over the past 6 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, I think they're the number one defense against the run, fantasy wise. So it's going to be a tough go for Saquon. But passing game, I think Tyrod could do some things. I like it. And then another piece that came out today, Amari Cooper, after that monster game, is questionable for tomorrow night. So he's dealing with a heel injury. Missed. I don't even know if they practiced today, but they said rest day, heel issue. But they said he's questionable. I'm hard pressed to think he's not going to play. I don't see him missing.
No, it'd have to be something like plantar fasciitis for him to like.
Yeah, if he does, I'd be very concerned as a Browns fan moving into the playoffs, just because he's one of those players that he will play through injuries. Like we've seen it his whole career, unless something is a very big issue, like he's going to play through it. And we saw what he did last week where he broke the Browns franchise record for receiving yards. He just had one of the best games I've ever seen a receiver have. So hopefully he plays for that final fantasy football game for you guys, because he is lighting it up.
Yeah, going off with Flacco.
Yeah, I think, since Flacco took over, I kind of had that in my notes. Since Flacco took over, he is leading the NFL in receiving yards.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Everybody just assumes Amari's like just this route technician and like everything's like a post or dig. It's like, no, this dude is phenomenal outside.
Yeah,
it's just
he still has. Crazy part is he's still got the speed, right? Yeah. He still has that. He's 29, which isn't super old, but
no.
Just his body type, and when you watch him play the game, it doesn't look like he's got that long breakaway speed to get over the top of the safety or anything like that, but he did it consistently last week. He's done it consistently since Flacco's taken over. You're finally seeing those deep shots to Amari Cooper, which is what we all wanted to see for fantasy, right? Like this is what I expected. I think me and you were the two high guys on Cooper coming in, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is what we wanted.
You're like 6 or something.
This is what we wanted from Amari Cooper. This is what we expect. Like the talent is there for Amari Cooper to be a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. It's just, can you get that quarterback play to go along with his skill set? And we're finally seeing it all come together.
You need a confident QB. I mean, it's like you look like somebody at Devontae Adams was never a burner. Came out of college probably running high 4.5s, but he separates. He gets open. Cooper Kupp's same way, and Amari Cooper's the same way. Where it's like a lot of the throws that Flacco threw to Amari last game weren't like dimes. A lot of them were underthrown, but the confidence you have in your receiver to adjust is huge, and that's why Amari's exploding, because Joe Flacco is like, if there is single coverage, I'm throwing it to him.
Flacco's older than me. He's balling. Yeah, he's older than me, and he's balling. He's doing the damn thing, man. We've been talking about him a lot. We're going to talk about him actually right now. That's a great segue. Thank you for that. So we're going to do, believe it or not, we're going to get into we're going to recap this week 16, go over some of the players again that overperformed, underperformed, what we expect for them kind of moving forward for this upcoming week. Let's start with Joe Flacco, Alex. Let's start with the man that is leading this Browns team to a playoff berth. QB3 on the week. Like he's QB3 since he's taken over in week 13. Are you playing him? Are you comfortable playing him in your championship matchup against the Jets on Thursday night? So it's this is kind of a bad situation, right? It's a terrible matchup, but the dude is going off. He's throwing the ball 40 plus times a game. Are you willing to play him?
It depends on what options. Like, what do I have on my team? I would put him anywhere between like QB 8 to 16 this week.
The way I've been looking at this with Flacco, I've been trying to go through this in my head a lot because we've been talking about this for the past 2-3 weeks. If you had Flacco on your team, right? If you picked Flacco up, it was probably because you didn't like the quarterback that you had. Like you were probably in a bad QB situation when you picked him up because he came in so late, right? Like week 13. So you probably picked him up week 14. So you probably had bad options at the quarterback position. So you're probably debating between him and like Matthew Stafford or Jake Browning or, some of those kind of that range where Trevor Lawrence, that's a good one. Nick Mullins, if you were rolling with Josh Dobbs, I was
gonna say Russell Wilson is what, QB 9, QB 8?
Yeah, I was gonna say now Russell Wilson's out.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence is probably gonna miss, right? So even if you were rolling with like Trevor Lawrence and somehow got to the championship with the performance he put up last week, you probably had Flacco in there with one of those quarterbacks, right? That was okay, but not really good. So yeah, like, do you think he's going to finish as a top 12 this week?
I think
tough to call it now, right?
I think it's possible, right? If Cooper doesn't play now,
that's the big one, right?
I think if Cooper doesn't play, he's like probably closer to QB 20 than he is QB 10.
Yeah.
If Cooper plays, I think Njoku eats. I think Ford eats. But I don't love it this week. But if Cooper plays and you're kind of using those QBs who are tier low in RB1 or QB1s or high end QB2s, it's like it's not the worst play.
Yeah. I think you could do. I keep saying it, man. It's just the amount that he's throwing the ball is what you want for fantasy.
Yeah.
Like he's going to get a couple turnovers. It's going to happen. But the dude's throwing so many times that he's going to walk away with 300 plus yards and 2 to 3 touchdowns. And it's just going to be it's going to consistently be over 20 fantasy points just because of the sheer volume that he's throwing the ball. If Amari Cooper doesn't play, that changes things a little bit. But I don't know how I'm going to figure it out because they cannot run the ball at all. So over the last, this is a fun little stat that I heard today, which was very interesting to me. Over the last 3 weeks, the Cleveland Browns have run the ball 76 times. They're averaging 2.2 yards per carry, which is a full yard and a half less than the next worst team. So they're dead last in the NFL at 2.2 yards per carry. The next team,
the offensive line's hurting.
It's rough. So like, what do you do? Like I don't think they brought Joe Flacco in to throw the ball 45 times a game. I don't think that was the game plan. I think they have no other option but to throw the ball 45 times a game just because they can't do anything on the ground.
Yeah. What I will say is the teams Flacco's played have been bad defensively. Against the pass, they've been bad. So, like the Rams, terrible against the pass. Jacksonville, not good against the pass. Chicago, terrible against the pass. Houston, not good against the pass. So this is
a fair point.
So
that's a fair point.
He's done well. He's been a top 10 QB every week, but he's going against a top 5 secondary in the league. Just like you mentioned, they can't run the ball. Kareem Hunt looks like Eddie Lacy before he was out of the league.
This is
it's a tough start. It's going to be a tough Like, do
I
you
agree.
start? Oh, it's funny that you put this in here. But like, those are your options in Flacco. Who are you starting? I'd probably take him Baker Mayfield.
Tampa Bay's got the Saints, so it's not
It's not easy.
not
it's
that much
better
of an
than the
easier
Jets.
matchup.
It's better than the
It
Jets.
is. He's got better weapons. It all kind of hinges on
offensive
Amari
line.
Cooper for me, really. And if he's like truly hurt,
it's tough.
Detroit's
say,
got Dallas, so all three of them have terrible matchups.
Right. So like,
but
if
Dallas
you
has been getting beat up. I'll be honest, Dallas's defense has been
I would
getting beat
go
up.
if I had to rank the three. I would go Baker, Goff, Flacco this week.
Probably. I think I'd do it the same way, just because of the heater that Baker's on. Even though Flacco is on a heater himself, it's
been against really bad
tough
teams.
to trust it right now. It's still tough to trust it, which is
we've seen Sam Howell get hot. We've seen, and that's the thing. It's DeVito got hot, won some games, and he's not even playing this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's
fair. But again, why was Sam Howell so valuable in fantasy at the beginning of the season? Because he was throwing the ball 45 times a game. Yeah, that's like what I'm saying. It's just like if you throw the ball 45 times a game, you're going to luck ass backwards into 300 yards. So it's just, are they going to continue doing that?
Yeah.
Can the offense stay on the field to do that without Amari Cooper on the field?
Yeah.
It's a big if.
I'm not hesitating not playing Flacco.
I agree. If Cooper doesn't play, I'm not playing Flacco.
What I would say is the guys who do have Baker, I think he's QB 11. He was earlier in the season when he played New Orleans, he was QB 7.
Okay.
So he's. I mean, it's crazy that we just we talk about the season he's having, and the connection he's had with Mike Evans is like Brady Gronk-esque right now.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You loved it. Hey, I'm a big Baker fan. I always have been. So I'm rooting for the guy. I hope he performs well, and he is.
Yeah, I want him to win the division. It's very winnable.
Yeah, I like it. Let's move on to Jordan Love, QB5 on the week. A good performance. He's been playing a lot better as of late. He had a rough week, I think, 2 weeks ago, but other than that, he's been solidly in the top 12 for the past maybe month and a half or so. Who they have the
Vikings.
The Vikings. Defense has been playing better as of late. Where are you at with him? Are you confident playing him? Are you still worried? A little kind of iffy. There's beat up pieces in that receiving room. Jaden Reed, who knows what's going on. Christian Watson's still missing practice. Doesn't look like he's going to play. Luke Musgrave was back at practice today, so that was good news. Another piece to the pie, right? Like just like another weapon to throw out there in case Jaden Reed can't go. He's an interesting one to me.
It's weird because it's like if you look at Love, he has like his better games against like good teams, and he plays bad against terrible teams.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
So
it's so weird.
And with this matchup, it's like you're going against the third or fourth string quarterback this week at Minnesota, but that Vikings defense gets pressure. Flores is aggressive. If Watson misses, if Reed misses, it's going to be. I think he's probably in a similar area with Flacco. I think he's probably at best he's a low end QB1 or a high end QB2.
Yeah. I'm hard pressed to think Christian Watson's coming back this week.
Yeah. So Love was QB 18 against Minnesota when they played earlier.
Yeah, he had a stretch where it was rough. He had a rough stretch for a while.
6 weeks where he was out of the top 10.
Yeah, he had a rough stretch. I don't know. I mean, he's playing well. I think the ceiling's kind of capped for him. I don't think I think this was like the peak, right? You're not going to see too much better than the QB5 performance. I don't see that happening. I think low end QB1 is kind of where I'm settling with him for this week. I think that's kind of where he'll fall. If Jaden Reed doesn't play, that kind of changes things a little bit more for me. He'll probably be around QB 15, 16.
I agree.
But good performance. You want that kind of momentum going into this game. So another guy that has some momentum right now, crazy enough, Mason Rudolph coming in at QB 12 for the week. I wanted to bring him up for 2 QB leagues just in case you're kind of contemplating between him and some other people like a Nick Mullins. If you're contemplating who you're going to fill in Russell Wilson with in these 2 QB leagues on how you're going to kind of go about piecing that together. Where are you at with Mason Rudolph after what you saw him do against Cincinnati?
I wouldn't say he looked amazing. He did make some aggressive throws. And getting Pickens involved is super important.
Actually played, right?
Right. Like
it looks like he's 2 different receivers. When he wants to play well, he'll play well. When he doesn't, it's clear as day.
He's a prima donna who wants the ball. If you're throwing him the ball, then he's probably playing balls out for you. He's going against Seattle this week. Yeah. I don't hate it. I don't like if
it'll be worse.
If it's like you have Flacco and Amari Cooper doesn't play, Mason Rudolph isn't the worst substitute this week.
Yeah. You could do. I think you could do worse in 2 QB setups. I don't know. Would you play him or Stidham? Would you play him or Stidham?
Mason Rudolph. Dude, you gotta understand. Like Russell Wilson didn't play bad this year. He had some bad games, but this guy is finishing the MVP voting in the top 3 like 4 times, and that Broncos offense is just a bad O-line. They don't run the ball well. Jerry Jeudy is a bust. Their best receiver is Sutton, who was injured all the time, not a burner. You know, they don't have a good offense.
They're going up against the Chargers.
It doesn't matter. Like, they're going to run the ball. McLaughlin, like, they're going to just run the ball. They're not going to – I mean –
the defense is bad. Somehow. They got pieces everywhere, but that defense is so damn bad. Enough about Mason Rudolph. We've talked enough about that. Let's move on to some of the disappointments this week. Another one. Patrick Mahomes keeps kind of disappointing week in and week out. QB 17 on the week. He hasn't cracked the top 12 QB performance since week 12. If you got to your championship with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, are you contemplating not playing him?
I mean, I don't love it. He's the last 4 weeks he's been bad. You know, what is it? The last 7 out of 8 weeks he's been bad.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you trust playing him in your if you got somehow to the championship with him as your QB because you spent capital on him.
Yeah.
Like if you took Patty Mahomes
off the board,
you spent capital.
Yeah.
So if somehow you got to the championship with Patrick Mahomes as your QB, you have to contemplate not playing him, right? I don't like where's the line?
It really depends on who you got. I mean, but
are you confident in saying he's going to be a top 12 quarterback?
So with a healthy Kelsey, Pacheco, and Rice,
Pacheco's hurt. It's not looking like he's going to play.
Well, if Kelsey and Rice are healthy, and Edwards-Helaire and McKinnon are healthy, I think his ceiling is like QB 7, and his floor is like QB 14. I don't love it, but it really depends on the option. But what I would say is, if you had to meet in the medium, I would put him QB 9 through 11.
The only thing going for him is he's playing Cincinnati.
Cincy.
This defense is so bad right now; it's crazy. Yeah,
and the Chiefs aren't running the ball. You know, they can't run the ball, especially with Pacheco out. They're going to throw the ball.
Yeah, and they need to win. Superflex for sure. He's still fine. Like he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna lose you weeks. But I'm saying in like a redraft, if you can go pick up what if Stafford's sitting out there? What if I would say Joe Flacco if he wasn't playing the Jets?
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't put.
But it makes it hard to kind of bring this argument up this week because he has Cincinnati. I brought it up last week, and I felt very comfortable saying I don't think he's going to be a top 12 quarterback against against the team he was playing and what we've seen over the past 2 months of the season.
I'm probably playing Mahomes. Stafford's been playing well, but he's been playing well against really good defenses, and it's the same thing when he plays bad defenses. He doesn't do a lot. He'll throw the ball like 22 times, but against
but he's been I want to say he's on
a tear.
I want to say he's been QB in the top 5 QBs since week 13, week 12.
Yeah. I mean, he's
been doing
since week
he's
12.
Been performing.
He's only had one game outside of the top 10, and it was QB 12.
Yeah.
And
so like with that consistency,
that's what I'm saying. It was against Washington. Like the other games were Cleveland, Baltimore, New Orleans, good defenses, and he's balled out. But like terrible defenses, like Seattle and Washington, like he's not. Like Kyron Williams might have a day.
That's why I'm like but I'm confident playing Stafford, knowing he'll get me.
I'm playing Mahomes.
20 points.
I'm playing Mahomes.
Yeah, I think I would against Cincy.
Yeah.
Against Cincinnati, I'm confident he's going to put points up.
Since he has enough weapons to where they might be able to put up points. So, Stafford's going against the Giants. They're not going to put points up.
I like it. I think it's an interesting topic, though, to talk about with
For sure.
How bad Mahomes has been. It's there. It's a conversation to be had that even though he's playing Cincinnati, you can't feel good about it, right?
Teams are starting to figure him out.
It's just been bad. Another guy that's been bad, Tua. He was QB 20 on the week. He's been QB 20 or worse in 4 of the last 5 weeks over the fantasy football season. Where are you at with him right now? Are you confident playing him?
No. He's playing Baltimore this week.
They got Baltimore? Jeez, dude.
Yeah.
We were so high on him the first month of the season. We thought he was going to break all these records. I think he's
showing he's middle of the road.
Well, you got a hurt Tyreek. You have a banged up Waddle.
Mostert.
Banged up. Both RBs are banged up.
Mm-hmm.
The offense isn't as explosive, and they can't do as much as they want to do with all these nicks and nagging kind of injuries. So it's really exposing this offense as a whole because they're only putting up. I don't want to say only, but they've been under 30 points quite a bit as of recent weeks, as opposed to at the beginning of the season where they were blowing the top off the defense and going for 45 every week. So it's a completely different kind of thing.
They have the hardest
than what we want
schedule in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
I mean, defensively, Vegas is top 15. Jets, passing wise, Vegas is secondary. Jets top 5. Washington sucks. Tennessee solid, and then they played the Jets again, and then Dallas. Then they played Baltimore. Then they played Buffalo. I'm not starting to the rest of the year.
So this week.
Yeah, I mean, even in DFS, I'm not playing him. They're too banged up. That O-line isn't looking that great anymore. It's tough, and Baltimore. I mean, Harbaugh is probably the most underrated coach in the NFL.
I agree with you. Are you guys going back to Purdy this week against Washington? Yeah. Depending on injury stuff, because he left with a stinger, so keep an eye on that. But if he's playing, if he's healthy, he's fine.
Yeah, he did a full walkthrough today.
Yeah, for whatever reason, the AFC North has the 49ers number this season. They just outplay him. The offenses can't get going on them.
Baltimore's that good, by the way.
Baltimore's defense is great as well. So
they're good.
It was a bad game for Purdy, I understand, but he's been producing, especially against bad defenses. That offense is way too explosive where they're going to put points up. It's inevitable, and Purdy's going to be a piece of it. So you want a piece of that offense against bad defenses, and Washington is bottom of the barrel. So feel confident with Purdy if you got him. Thanks, guys. I've heard too many people say Mahomes is still good. He hasn't been the same. So to preface, I agree with this statement. I still think Mahomes is good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I still think quarterback wise, NFL quarterback, I think he's I think he's the best quarterback in the league. I'm not arguing against that. I think I'm talking about for fantasy football purposes, he's been bad this year. There's something off about the offense. I don't know if it's that Bieniemy's not there and maybe something's missing with how they were doing things in practice. There's just a missing piece in this offense. And I still don't think he has enough weapons. It's an older Travis Kelce who's been dealing with injuries, and that's a big piece of it. Rashee Rice is good. Like, I like Rashee Rice.
That's it.
Other than that, what do you have there? You got Pacheco. Sure, he's fine.
Offensive line hasn't been great.
You can't throw the ball just to Kelce and Rashee Rice. Like, you can't get by doing that. Tony's dropping the ball every other pass. Justin? I mean, I like Watson. Like, he's a fine receiver, but there's just not enough pieces there.
Somebody on Twitter did the math from Tony's drops in the last 6 games. If he caught those, Mahomes goes from like QB 13 to like QB 7 or QB 6.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's like when we say he hasn't been good, we're like fantasy wise, he hasn't been what you drafted him as.
Yes.
But realistically, with how this offense has been and the amount of drops he's had this year or penalties back, sorry to play.
My man. Coming in hot, baby. I love it.
I'll do this just because I have since Stefanski's been coach. I don't think Stefanski is a great coach. I don't.
He said it the whole time. I think he's insane. I think he's going to win another Coach of the Year. But we can go on for this for hours, and we don't have the time for it.
Yeah,
but
you can't be the most underrated coach when the defense that you have Amari Cooper, who has been the top 10 receiver his entire career in the NFL. And Njoku is good. Like they are doing very well, but that defense is a freak show, and that has nothing to do with Stefanski. Your guys' defensive coordinator might be the most underrated coach in the NFL. Let's be real.
He's got Joe Flacco playing at an MVP level. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
and with the third,
but with Mahomes, he's
keep it moving.
Yeah, Mahomes is done fine. He hasn't been a top 5 QB, but he is literally so close to being like QB 6 for the year.
Yeah, no, I mean
a lot of drops. Kelsey's dropped.
It's been very bad lately, right? Like he's just not even in the top 12. And that's, it's hard to even play him over what he's been doing. And again, it's not just him, it's the whole team. The whole team's not producing. We can bring up another guy, Travis Kelce, who's been underperforming
what I will
drastically,
say,
right?
Mahomes
like he's been
has played
brutal.
Tough D's.
Is what it is.
He's had some really tough matchups on defense. New England's got a good D. Vegas has a good secondary. Buffalo has a good D. So it's like you're getting drops and injuries against good defenses. Like, yeah, he's not going to give you QB1 numbers every week, but this week against Cincy, if he finished QB5, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I agree with you. But it's just not what we're accustomed to.
No.
Especially Travis Kelce, right? Let's talk about him real quick. No, you're not at all, dude.
No.
You're not.
I get the argument.
I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Football wise, I think he's still great. Fantasy wise, this year he's been not what we expected, to say the least. So that's where I kind of fall on that. But anyways, back to Travis Kelce. We'll kind of segue into the tight end position. I just want to talk about him real quick because he's been in that same camp as Patrick Mahomes. They're kind of going together with how bad they've both been producing as like over the past month or so. Kelce hasn't killed you as much as Patrick Mahomes probably. But again, I think he's saved this week by a Cincinnati defense who's probably the worst in the league to the tight end position. So
Kelce's had 2 bad weeks, and they were against 2 teams that are top 12 against a tight end. New England and Vegas. Kelce's fine. He's top 10 every other week, pretty much for that. He's still tight end 2.
Yeah, just
He's probably,
again.
to be honest, with Hawk out, he's probably tight end 1 this week.
You think he's tight end 1 this week? I was going to ask you, is there anyone you're playing over him?
No. To me, he's the best tight end in the NFL this week.
All right. You heard it here first. Tight end 1 incoming for Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
Let's quick hit some of these running backs. Brees Hall. I think we've seen the best and worst of Brees Hall over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He probably won you this week if you got through what he did 2 weeks ago, where he more than likely lost you a week, which he lost me a week. So I'm a little bitter against him right now. But can you trust playing him against, like you keep talking about it, one of the best defenses in the league with the Cleveland Browns tomorrow night?
Yeah, you're playing him.
Hoping for a boom game.
Yeah.
It's tough, right? He's a tough one where it's, you know what he can do and what he can produce. It seems like this offense can't do anything against good defenses and they can expose a bad defense, but I get what you're saying. It's hard to, it's like, who are you sitting him for, right? Like,
there's a lot of injuries.
Zamir White, you know, like that's where we're at, which Zamir White's put up 2 nice weeks back to back. So it's hard to, it's hard to wrap your head around arguing the two of them. But we see the low end of what Brees Hall can be. So I wanted to hit it, but I think you're right. I think Brees Hall,
you're playing
kind of stuck playing him.
Whether it's flex or RB2, you're playing him.
Yeah. Another year, another James Conner kind of break out at the end of the season where he is RB3 over the last 3 games that he's played. He's RB3 in points per game. He's going against a very tough Philadelphia rush defense. Are you contemplating sitting him out?
No. Same thing. RB2 flex for me this week.
Yep. RB2s are. What if you? Okay, let's bring this next guy up, and then I want you to rank the 3 that we brought up. Okay. Aaron Jones. He looked really good this week, RB16, but it was 127 yards, 21 carries. He just didn't find the end zone. I think he had a couple catches. They have Minnesota this week, so where are you at with him? And then give me a ranking between Aaron Jones, Brees Hall, and James Conner.
Jones plays. I'm probably going Conner, Jones, Hall.
Okay. Interesting. That Philly defense is tough. The only thing that's, again, James Conner, well, this is how he's always been. He's so valuable in the pass
everything.
Game,
yeah,
right?
Does everything.
Yeah, it's just in that pass game where he's so valuable. And
Aaron
Kyler,
Jones is the same thing. I mean, let's be honest. Aaron Jones he's valuable for receiving. That's why he typically would finish in the top, 15 running back every year?
He is, but Jordan Love doesn't look for him as much as Rodgers did, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's just a little different.
For sure. I mean, Aaron Jones was a top 10 RB in fantasy 4 years in a row. Yeah, and it's because he gets the ball.
We got a question here. Hall, Gibbs, Eckler, Zeke, and Warren need to.
Gibbs and Warren.
Gibbs for sure. Who? Who'd you say?
Warren. I'm going Warren.
You're going Warren?
Mm-hmm. Against Seattle.
I don't trust that.
It's going to get dump offs. I would go Gibbs, Warren.
It's still a split, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like you're still dealing with a split with Najee, so it's so hard to trust it.
But he's getting a split, but with Mason Rudolph, he's going to get touches. I don't trust Eckler for any reason. I'm not even playing him.
Yeah.
Because it's like Zeke, who knows?
I would see. That's where I'm mind blown that you're not going Zeke here. I'm going Gibbs and Zeke. I really am. He's had over 20 points in 2 of 3. He didn't have a great week 2 weeks ago, but is what it is. Buffalo's defense is okay, but they're not anywhere near what they were in previous seasons. Like, I'm not scared of that defense by any means.
Yeah, they did announce Ramondre's for sure out for the year too. So.
Yeah, put him on IR.
So I'd
Zeke's gonna get all the work.
I'd probably do Gibbs, Zeke, Warren, Hall, Eckler.
That's how I would do it.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it. I might even, man.
Don't.
I wanted to say Hall over Warren, but
dude,
it's tough. It's tough with the Browns defense. But
yeah.
Gibbs and Zeke are my two for sure.
Yeah, that's yeah. The Zeke argument makes sense.
Yeah, we hit it that one night. I was so happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
So we hit the running backs. Another couple disappointing guys that I wanted to talk about and get your quick hit on. James Cook seemed like he was back to reality. He was RB 49 this week against the Chargers. Going against your New England Patriots this week. Can you confidently play him in your finals matchup? I think he's a tough play this week.
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's New England doesn't know how to lose. Like, they should be trying to tank. That defense is not allowing that team to lose easily.
Yeah. Are you okay? So James Cook obviously has been great, right? Like, he's been unbelievable the past 6 weeks of the season, however you want to break it up.
Yeah.
Are you playing somebody like Zeke over him this week? Are you playing somebody like James Conner over him? Like, where's that line that you're...
I'd probably play Zeke over him, but I'm probably playing James Cooks over Connor.
Okay. You got him like a mid RB2?
I
RB2?
would say no, probably mid RB2.
Mid RB2. Just kind of temper your don't expect a 35-point performance kind of thing.
No, I would be surprised if he got over 50 rushing yards, but he probably snagged 6 catches.
Yeah. And then a guy I'm heavily debating in most of my leagues because I took him in almost every league this year, Tony Pollard.
Yeah, weird. What a weird season for him.
RB 48 this week. Tough rush defense in Detroit. They got this week. So where are you at with him? Where's the line? Are you willing to play him, or are you contemplating other options?
He's a guy where against good rush defenses, he's bad. It's like, we talk about some of these guys are having great games against great defenses. Pollard's not one of those guys. If it's a good defense, he's not playing well. So against Detroit, it's like 30 to 40 yards rushing, probably get you 20 yards receiving. Like, so
that's the thing that we've seen it, right? Like, he can get you 5 points. Like,
I think he's a low end RB2 at best this year.
Yeah, it's not great. I'm contemplating some moves this week, which hurts my soul to maybe sit him for the finals, but might have to. May wind up flexing Warren over Sutton. Keep an eye out. Sutton was hurt.
Right.
Let us know other options too. Again, we'll be back tomorrow, so we can help you with that if you got a clearer picture of your options for that flex spot. But we'll go over it. He is a Pats fan.
I'm not from Massachusetts. I am from Columbus. But used to go vacation in Gloucester. And when I was a kid, it was the first game. The first jersey I got was a Terry Glenn, then Drew Bledsoe, then Troy Brown jersey, and just kind of stuck. Got lucky.
Yes, it did. Yes, you did. You little bastard. Instead of
also
being miserable.
Also, Michigan fan,
years.
So it helped Brady going to Patriots and made it easier. I was a big, I watched a lot of Chad Henne when he left Michigan too. At the Dolphins, I was hopeful, but not so much.
No, not so much.
No.
Let's get into some of these wide receivers, and we can get out of here and get ready for tomorrow for the start of the championship. I'm excited. For this game tomorrow. T. Higgins, back-to-back top 12 performances. Obviously, it was wild. Chase was out. We don't know if Jamar Chase is going to play or not, but let me get your gut instinct on what you think of T. Higgins this week if Chase plays and if he does not play.
If he plays, I think he's Low end wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2. If Chase plays, I'm not playing him.
Who they got
He's
this
been
week?
very risky when Chase has been in the lineup.
Kansas City.
Good. It's a good secondary.
He has, right? It's so weird how good he looks when he's the guy. Like when he gets targeted enough, the dude can fill a stat sheet. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's
risky. I mean, he's been wide receiver in 83, wide receiver 78, wide receiver 40. So it's very risky.
It is. And he's another guy. I have him in one of my leagues. I'm debating. I'll bring up the other guy while we're talking about this. DJ Moore. He's clearly banged up. He was dealing with something in that Cleveland game 2 weeks ago. Re-injured it again last week. Are you willing to risk playing him in Atlanta?
Probably.
Like you're just rolling with it. See, like I'm debating between T and DJ Moore in one league, even though DJ Moore got me to where I'm at right now. It's because he had a great year. It just the last 2 weeks the dude's clearly hurt. It's apparent that he's hobbling around. It doesn't look good. But DJ Moore's he's a tough sit, man. He's a tough sit.
He wasn't
last 2 weeks have been tough.
Yeah, he wasn't listed on the injury report, so
no, I think he's gonna play. Like
the
dude's tough, but he's dealing with something.
Yeah, you've got to play him.
Yeah,
he's got a very tough matchup though.
He does.
He's got a top 5 corner on the league who's going to shadow him all game.
There's a lot of good receivers that have tough matchups this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very tough. The wide receiver position, especially, there's a lot of players that will be in the championship that are going up against very tough defenses.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Stefon Diggs real quick because I think he's somebody we need to bring up. Under 10 points in 3 straight and under 10 points in 5 of the last 6. If you got to the championship with Stefon Diggs on your team, are you contemplating sitting him for, a Jaden Reed or a player in that caliber?
Yeah, I mean, he's going against New England. It's not like their secondary isn't amazing, but overall as a defense, they're good and they're a great red zone defense. I mean, since like week 9, he's been like wide receiver like 30.
Yeah, it's been, like I said, 5 of the last 6. He's had under 10 fantasy points, right? It's not been good. And it doesn't look like Allen's trying to get him the ball. Like he used to force feed him, right?
Not anymore.
That's why we love Diggs for fantasy, right? We used to love Diggs for fantasy just because Josh Allen would force feed the guy.
People assumed that offensive coordinator change was going to be a benefit for Diggs, and it's been the opposite.
Yeah.
With Dorsey gone, they
really utilized James Cook when
and Davis.
Gabe Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who are you playing, Gabe Davis or Stefon Diggs?
Probably playing Davis.
That is so.
He's going to be going against the second corner. Davis's issue where it's like he's missed 4 of the last 8 games throughout. Like, or he's just been in and out. But when he's been in, he's been pretty good.
He's a tough play though. He's just one of those players you never know what you're.
It's a boomer bust. It's just
that's the thing.
Davis.
Like, you could be right with that play just because I don't think the boom is there for Diggs anymore.
No,
like this season, I'm saying like it's just.
I think Diggs' ceiling's like 80 yards receiving.
What you would take from what you've been getting from him, right?
Yeah.
Like
I'll
take 5 for 80. Give me that.
5 or 6 for 80 is his ceiling. Where Gabe Davis' ceiling is like, 120 yards and 2 tutties.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Weird. Be aggressive.
The last 2 months of the NFL season has been very weird.
Yeah.
But that's a
This
good
whole
way to,
football season's been weird.
yeah. If you got to the finals, right, that's one way to look at it. It's just like balls to the wall. You're playing those boom plays, and hopefully you hit them, right?
Yeah.
It's an interesting way to kind of figure it out on how to approach your lineup for the final game of the season. Because all throughout the season, you want to be consistent. You're aiming for consistency throughout the entire season to get to this point. And it's like, do you want to take the safe plays, or do you want to go for the boom plays and hope you hit and hopefully you win? It can bite you in the butt and you might lose, but at the end of the day, you're taking a big swing on some of these players.
Yeah.
Which
and
we
Davis
will talk
is like
more
a
about.
safe boom guy, where it's like if anyone's gonna have a boom game, the chances of it being him are
Yeah, he's a
higher than
high
most people.
percentage boom.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. High percentage boom as opposed to bust, where you know who is if Jaden Reed plays, the dude's been so damn consistent over the past month and a half. Like he's averaging probably 16, 17 fantasy points. Like he's a solid play.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
It's just he's been hurt, so it's tough. Pittman's dealing with that concussion neck injury sort of thing that he had going on. So hopefully he's back. It looked like he was going to play last week, and then out of nowhere they yanked the ripcord.
Probably smart on their part.
Yeah, really
dude
screwed
took
me
a
over
hit.
that they said it right before.
Yeah.
It was right after T. Higgins started playing, so I couldn't plug in T. Higgins.
Oh man.
Yeah, they announced it after that game started, so I ended up having to play Evan Ingram in my flex, which was
Not the
fine.
worst, right?
Nah, he did good. He got me 20-some points.
That's
but
what I'm saying. He's a receiver, basically.
It made the game a lot closer than it should have been if T was in. It made my game a lot closer. I'll say that. But let's get out of here, and we will be back tomorrow, an hour before kickoff, answering any of those last-minute start-sit questions up for your championship week. So make sure you guys are here for that. And then I don't think we'll be here Sunday, but we are going to be on Twitter and our Discord kind of answering any last-minute questions for you guys. So make sure you hop in, ask any questions that you got. Feel free to DM us or anything like that with screenshots of your lineups, screenshots of waivers and stuff. We're here to help, and we appreciate everybody helping us out along this journey. And for Alex, I'm Rob. Good luck in the championship.
Thank you for watching our episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
If you aren't already following us on Twitter, check us out at DadBodFS.
We'll be posting all of our best clips and videos to all of our social media: TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You can find us on there at DadBod Fantasy Squad.
Lastly, if you'd rather just listen, we make sure we post our audio of each episode on all the major streaming platforms. Stick with us all season long so together we can count our trophies and not our calories.